In a world where some politicians are dishonest and break the rules, there comes a time when they suddenly understand that they've been discovered and will have to face the consequences of their wrongdoings. So are you ready for an inside look at the electrifying moment when corrupt politicians come face to face with the real power of law and order? Who are these politicians that were caught off guard? Was it some insider who set them up? Let's get on with it.
Take her right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna do what it takes.
Okay. It's in order. All right.
So, on to our first incident involving the mayor of Fort Wayne in Indiana. Meet Tom Henry, who is seen here ordering the police during his arrest. So how did things get here? Let's uncover the incident. On Saturday night, Mayor Tom Henry had attended a fundraiser and openly acknowledged that he'd had a bit too much wine. Despite his impaired state, he decides to drive his city-owned car through a roundabout on Old Mill Road. This choice quickly turns dangerous as he speeds and veers into the wrong lane, endearing both himself and others on the road. An oncoming driver, alarmed by the possibility of a head-on collision, honks her horn to alert Henry. Startled, he changed direction to avoid her, but not without scraping the side of her car, causing a collision that required police intervention.
There's two over there. Who else is over
One's
there?
my wife and one's my mother-in-law.
Gotcha, okay.
Tell me, pick one. Which one's what?
No, I just didn't, you kept saying your wife. I didn't know who the other one was.
No, my wife.
Gotcha.
As the video evidence clearly depicts, Henry's impairment is evident. His speech is slurred and he relies on a patrol car for support to maintain his balance. When questioned by the responding officers about the circumstances of the crash, Henry admits that he took the traffic circle too widely, leading to the collision with another vehicle. The police officers become increasingly concerned about whether Henry has been drinking, given his behavior and the circumstances of the crash. At one point, Henry vents his frustration, attributing the situation to his attendance at fundraisers.
Just big deep breath and blow.
Probably 4.0. No.
You'd be dead if it was 4.0.
I know it.
Sir, I do appreciate your cooperation.
No. We have to do a hit.
Okay.
I understand. What is it?
.156.
That's about twice.
It's about twice.
Are we done with
Oh,
the second
shit.
car?
Yeah.
We can get them out of here?
Yep.
Henry is in a tough spot, well aware of his wife's illness. He asks for someone to give her a ride home because she's not feeling well. But his problems are far from over. The authorities ask him to take a breathalyzer test, and the results are shocking. His blood alcohol level is 0.152, nearly double the legal limit. As soon as they discover his high blood alcohol level, the officers detain him, and his behavior takes a turn. He becomes demanding, leaving the officers with no choice but to put him in handcuffs, securing his hands behind his back. Henry, in a somewhat surprised tone, asks if he's really going to be taken into custody.
Let go of your hands.
You're going to actually take me in?
We're working through it.
We're waiting to see.
Right now, you're just being detained.
Because put the mayor in the back seat of the handcuffs.
Sir, I'm gonna have you step out.
I won't forget this.
Well, sir,
Believe me.
I just want you to know that we are recording everything, okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
I just cannot believe that you put me in the handcuffs in the mayor of the city. These handcuffs are breaking my wrist.
Clearly unhappy with the situation, he mutters, "I won't forget this," as they place him in handcuffs and seat him in the back of a police vehicle. The officers, perhaps trying to make him more comfortable, decide to move his handcuffs to the front.
Take her right now.
Okay.
I'm going to do what it takes.
Okay. It's in order. All right.
During this tense time, Henry insists that the officers working for him, urging them to hurry and get his wife home for the medical care she needs, but he is seen telling the officer that it's an order. Following his arrest, Henry's encounter with the law took a serious turn. The officers informed him of his rights, and then took him to the Allen County Jail, where he had to face the consequences of his actions.
Operating and fighting continues after learning he has to stay at the jail for 6 hours and 40 minutes.
It's not going to happen.
Sir, we have protocols of it.
I don't
Okay,
care.
this is not.
I will not be in a cell.
This is not our decision.
At the county jail, he continues to argue with police when he knows that he has to stay for 6 hours and 40 minutes. He kept on arguing with the police that he would not stay in a cell. In the aftermath of this incident, the 70-year-old mayor pleaded guilty to the charge of operating a vehicle while intoxicated, a decision that acknowledged he had put another person's life in danger through his reckless actions. However, his jail sentence was suspended for 1 year, meaning he didn't have to serve time behind bars immediately. Besides avoiding jail time, Henry was also ordered to pay a significant financial penalty. He had to cough up over $3,000 in fines, court costs, and restitution. The financial obligation was both a consequence of his actions and a way to compensate the city and the driver of the car he had collided with. In addition to the monetary penalties, Henry's driving privileges were affected. His driver's license was suspended for 90 days, making it illegal for him to get behind the wheel. Moreover, he faced a 1-year ban on drinking alcohol or possessing it, which was enforced by random drug and alcohol tests. To address his drinking problem, he was required to complete an alcohol countermeasure program. He could maybe think that Mayor Henry acted in this way with the police because he was drunk, but the politician in the next video knew exactly what he was doing.
The bee in a bonnet because she thought she was on a big power trip. Guess what? She's been there 7 years, so she ain't gonna make 8.
That sounded scary. What did he mean by she ain't gonna make 8? Let's start with the story of a Republican congressional candidate who thought he could scare off a policewoman with his status. Meet Martin Hyde, who was pulled over by the police officer in Sarasota, Florida on Valentine's Day. Not gonna be a romantic encounter, trust me.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, sir? Officer Baskin, Sarasota Police Department. You're on audio and video recording. The reason for the stop, you were observed going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that.
In a quiet street in Saratoga, Officer Beskin approaches a vehicle and a tense encounter begins. She informs the driver, Mr. Hyde, that the interaction is being recorded, and she reveals the reason for pulling him over. The officer then says that she stopped him because he was driving too fast, going 57 miles per hour in an area with a speed limit of 40. Also, he was using his phone while driving, which is not allowed and can be dangerous.
I just called the chief, how's that?
Go right ahead, sir. Can I see your license? Right? Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
You can do this?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry?
Hyde's response takes an unexpected turn as he threatens to call the officer's supervisor like he's going to complain about her. He even asked if she knew who he was, like he was someone very important. Hyde then tries to assert his identity, asking the officer if she knows who he is. "You know who I am, right?" he inquired, hinting at his own significance. Officer Beskin maintained her composure, presses on, requesting Hyde's license, registration, and insurance. She reminds him that she has a job to do, signaling that the gravity of the situation should not be underestimated. Hyde, however, seems to suggest that the officer's career might be in jeopardy with his remark. "Yeah, for now."
I still have a job to do, sir.
Yeah, man. What's your name?
Officer Baskin, it's going to be on the citation. Can I see your insurance, registration, and your license, please? Sir, can I have your paperwork, please? 7 years, sir. Can I see your registration, please? You're not going to give me your registration, sir.
You arrest me?
I'm asking you if you're going to produce me with your registration. You don't have it on you?
As Hyde inquires about the officer's name, she obligingly provides it, stating, "Officer Beskin, it's going to be on the citation." The two engage in a back-and-forth dialogue, with Hyde eventually handing over his license. However, the tension escalates when the officer requests his registration. "Can I see your registration, please?" "You're not going to give me your registration, sir?" Officer Beskin inquires firmly. Hyde's concerns grow as he questions whether he's about to be arrested. The officer responds by asking if he plans to provide her with his registration. This standoff over the registration continues, with the officer repeatedly requesting the necessary documents.
I'm asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions.
Okay,
Why are
sir.
you doing this?
Sir, because you were speeding and you were texting.
Hyde asserts that the officer is making career decisions and questions why she is putting him through this ordeal. Officer Beskin, undeterred, returns to her vehicle to document the violations she has observed. She prepares citations for Hyde, citing him for speeding, texting while driving, and failing to provide the required registration. As the situation unfolds, Hyde responds defiantly to the officer's attempt to give him citations. He claims to have just spoken with her boss, attempting to assert some influence. The officer, unfazed by this claim, offers to give him his paperwork. But what he said next was just unbelievable.
Call the supervisor. I just spoke to your boss.
Okay.
That's not okay.
You want your paperwork?
Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you talk to people like this?
However, Hyde responds with a controversial question about the officer's immigration status, implying that her background might affect how she interacts with people. He says, "Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you talk to people like this?" This comment adds further tension to the already strained encounter. In response to this exchange, the officer decides to call her supervisor for assistance. She then tries to explain why she is issuing 3 citations to Hyde, but he dismisses her attempts to communicate, stating, "I'm not interested in hearing anything you have to say. I'll wait for the supervisor." It's clear that he prefers to deal with a higher-ranking officer. Eventually, Hyde hands over his vehicle's registration, noting that he has already received a citation for not having it during the traffic stop. Then he drops a surprising revelation. "You're talking to a congressional candidate." This revelation changes the dynamic of the encounter, as it suggests that Hyde holds a significant position in the political arena.
It'll take 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that she pays the price for being disrespectful.
A supervisor soon arrives at the scene, and Hyde is seen on camera conversing with the sergeant. Later in the video, Hyde once again comments on the officer's tenure with the department, suggesting that her career might be in jeopardy. He states that her time with the department may not last much longer, introducing an element of uncertainty into the encounter. Hyde received 3 citations for his actions during the traffic stop. 1 for speeding, another for texting while driving, and a 3rd for failing to provide his vehicle's registration when asked. These citations carried a total of nearly $500 in fines. In a conversation with WFLA, Hyde expressed regret for his behavior during the traffic stop. He attributed his actions to being in a bad mood that particular Monday morning. Hyde was keen to clarify that he respects law enforcement officers, emphasizing that his oldest son is a sheriff's deputy. Hyde made it clear that his behavior during the incident did not reflect a general dislike for the police. Instead, he acknowledged that he acted in a way he now regrets, stating that it was a result of being in a grumpy mood. He extended a heartfelt apology, expressing the hope that he would learn from the experience and encourage others to do the same. But do you believe all this was because of a bad mood? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So let's move on to our next incident.
Comey hits a parked car along Capitol Avenue in Hartford, causing her to flip over and causing another driver to swerve out of the way. Just seconds before, people...
What just happened there? Well, that's drunk state representative, Robin Comey. Let's dive into the incident. Kristen Blandon and her husband were having a quiet evening, watching a movie in their apartment, when a sudden loud noise shattered the peace. Kristen swiftly grabbed her cell phone and dialed 911. Little did she know that the person being pulled out of the flipped-over car would turn out to be a state lawmaker. Video footage captured the dramatic moment when State Representative Robin Comey's vehicle collided with a parked car along the Capitol in Hartford, causing her car to flip over and forcing another driver to swerve to avoid a collision. This incident unfolded just a few blocks from the State House, where Comey had been attending committee hearings until 4:30 in the afternoon. The crash occurred shortly before 7 in the evening. In the chaotic aftermath of the crash, Comey made an attempt to leave the scene, but concerned bystanders urged her to stay until the police arrived.
Yeah.
Where were you heading home from?
I was heading home from the restaurant down the road.
Which one? Where'd you go to dinner? What's that?
I'm not sure what to say.
So you don't know where you went to dinner?
No, I was heading home from
You don't know which restaurant you went to?
well, I went to...
When law enforcement officers reached the scene, they immediately noticed something was amiss. Comey's speech was sluggish and she struggled to form proper sentences. It was evidence that something was seriously wrong. A subsequent police report shed light on Comey's activities prior to the crash. She had been at a restaurant, but when asked, she couldn't recall the exact location. This raised suspicions about the possibility of alcohol being involved in the incident.
Okay. Alright, so you're not diabetic? Do you wear contacts or glasses? What I'd like you to do is look at the tip of my pen with your eyes, and your eyes only, and keep your head still, okay? Do you understand?
Yes.
Keep your head still. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Body cam footage from the scene appeared to show Comey's subjected to a series of field sobriety tests near the state capitol.
alright. Now, can you put your hands behind your back for me? I'm gonna explain it to you. I'm gonna bring you over to my car so you have a little more privacy. Okay, when are you guys gonna be able to plaza it? Thank you. Good. And then we're gonna walk to that black Tahoe over there on the right, okay?
Unfortunately, she failed 2 of these tests, leading to her arrest and being charged with operating under the influence, according to the police. In Connecticut, the legal limit for blood alcohol content is set at 0.08. However, State Representative Comey's blood alcohol content exceeded that by a significant margin. Her blood alcohol content registered at 0.1446 and 0.1400. Based on the results of 2 sobriety tests indicating that her blood alcohol content was nearly twice the legal limit. After several minutes of field tests and assessments, officers placed Comey in handcuffs and escorted her to a nearby DUI command center. There, she attempted to contact an attorney, but her efforts were unsuccessful. The officers then requested a sample of her blood to determine her exact blood alcohol level. Initially, she resisted, but eventually complied after being informed of the potential consequences if she refused. In a rather iconic twist, Comey even joked about wanting to change DUI laws because she felt they didn't make sense. This comment, made under the circumstances, only added to the surreal nature of the situation. Just a day after the incident, State Representative Comey faced the consequences of her actions. Matt Ritter, the House Speaker, swiftly removed her from her committee and other leadership roles. This was a clear indication that her conduct had serious ramifications, not only for her political career, but also for her personal life. Robin Comey later issued a written apology, acknowledging her DUI arrest and expressing regret to her constituents, fellow lawmakers, family, and friends. She announced her commitment to seeking treatment to address her addiction and the help she recognizes she needs. Comey expressed her deep gratitude to everyone for their understanding and support during this challenging time, signaling her determination to confront her personal struggles and work towards recovery. The legal proceedings were set in motion with Comey's initial court appearance scheduled at the Hartford Superior Court. While Robin Comey was cooperative and friendly during her incident, this Supreme Court justice went ballistic.
We are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now.
No, it's okay.
Motherfucker.
You better get off the fucking
Let him arrest me.
Did she just push a police officer? That's New York Supreme Court Justice Mark J. Grisanti. Let's check out the whole incident. The video unfolds with Buffalo police arriving at a scene marred by a heated dispute between 2 sets of neighbors. The argument, filled with vulgar language, stems from a disagreement over a car's parking spot. Body camera clips aired by a local station captured the unfolding drama. The footage opens with officers attempting to mediate between the neighbors, while Mark's wife Maria loudly voices her grievances from across the street. Tensions run high as the officers work to separate the feuding parties, but Maria, dressed in pink, continues to hurl shouts and obscenities at her neighbors. Despite an officer's request to be quiet, she defiantly refuses.
Porch and they stopped and says that our fucking truck is in their driveway. This and that. I says our fucking truck is in their driveway. They came across the street here, pushed my husband.
Not came. They came running.
She came running. She literally.
So what was the first thing that they said?
Wait till my son hears what
Ma'am, if you don't stop yelling, this is going to be a problem for you.
I don't care.
The situation takes a dramatic turn when another officer moves in to restrain her and places her in handcuffs. Just as this unfolds, a shirtless man, Mark J. Grisanti, enters the scene. He shouts at the officer attempting to restrain Maria, forcefully shoving him from behind. Another officer swiftly intervenes, grabbing Mark by the arm and firmly stating, "Keep your hands off of a cop." The video evidence clearly shows that the officer's attempt to handcuff Maria follows several warnings due to her behavior. The action triggers a furious reaction from Justice Grisanti, who issues warnings of his own. In an increasingly tense and volatile situation,
Constructive criticism, dude.
Okay.
Okay? Let me give you some constructive criticism. You want to drop another copper's name? You want to scream about, Grimaldi or the mayor? Why don't you shut the fuck up? And you keep quiet. Shut your goddamn mouth. Put your hands right back. Listen. Put your hands right back. You want to be difficult? You want to say I know all these coppers, I know all these things? No, you want to make us look dirty? Is that what you want to do? So how am I helping you now? Tell me, how can I help you? Shut up and let me talk to you, you old geezer. Shut up. Shut up. Let me talk to you. Since you had so much to say and you touch a cop. So let me talk to you. Okay. God. Let me talk to you. God. Quiet. No, you're not done talking yet.
in the video, Officer Richard then loses patience with the shirtless state Supreme Court justice, getting in Grisanti's face and waving his hand. He then handcuffs Grisanti and places him in the back of a police car. But later, Grisanti talks directly with Detective Mark Constantino, whom he appears to know on a first-name basis. In another point in the video, Mark Grisanti is seen shirtless, yelling at officers to remove the handcuffs from his wife, who is in the back of a patrol car. In the midst of the dispute and ensuing altercation, Justice Grisanti openly asserts his influential connections without hesitation. He mentions Deputy Police Commissioner Joseph Kermaglia and then escalates that matter further by invoking the name of Buffalo's mayor, Byron Brown, to add weight to his claims. He asserts that his own family is entwined with the police force as his son-in-law and daughter serve within it. These references to his affiliations introduce a layer of complexity to the untold events, raising questions about the potential impact of his connections on the situation and the officer's response. Remarkably, Justice Grisanti was not criminally charged in the aftermath of this incident. This led to questions from at least one Buffalo official about whether his status and connections played a role in the leniency showed to him. The situation took an even more significant turn when the video came to light, leading to increased scrutiny of Justice Grisanti by a judicial disciplinary panel. But Buffalo Police spokesman Captain Jeff Rinaldo said Grisanti was not charged because he didn't tackle anyone. He didn't punch him. He gave him a shoulder shove. Rinaldo said it was the officer's decision not to charge Grisanti for the push to the officer. Is it just me, or do you also think that he wasn't punished because of his status? But the politician in the next video didn't get to go scot-free.
Hey, Bob. Yeah? Hey, I'm getting screamed at by one of your cops. Who's the cheat now? So how do I file a complaint against one of our officers?
The man in this video is the mayor of Wichita, Brandon Whipple, and I'm sure you already understand that he's trying to use his contacts. Anyway, let's get into the details. On September 24, 2022, Wichita Mayor Brandon Whipple found himself embroiled in a heated dispute with a Wichita police officer. The confrontation began when he cut in line at a community cleanup event and then refused to turn around to deliver trash from his rental property, which was located nearby. The officer intervened after Whipple entered the wrong entrance to dump his rental property's trash at the neighborhood cleanup event. This event was designed to allow residents to dispose of large items like mattresses and tires for free. In the footage, Mayor Whipple is heard calling City Manager Robert Layton, expressing his frustration and stating that the officer doesn't know who I am. He also requested the name of the acting chief of police to file a complaint against the officer.
I was shocked that it didn't include the entirety of the incident.
However, the mayor claimed that the footage did not capture the full context of the confrontation. He released the video himself on October 13th, after discovering that the officer's body camera had not been turned on at the beginning of the altercation. During this undocumented part of the confrontation, Whipple alleged that the officer had yelled at him. President of the Wichita Police Union, David Inkelar, contended that the officer was yelling to get the mayor's attention. The dispute soon ignited a call for a review of Wichita's police body camera policies. with Mayor Whipple urging reforms to ensure full transparency in such encounters. The police union even called a made-for-TV press conference to slam the mayor over his behavior. Nevertheless, Whipple also extended an apology for his role in the incident, recognizing that his actions had contributed to the confrontation. The repercussions of this incident extended beyond the initial dispute. On May 11, 2023, the Wichita City Board took a unanimous vote of 4-0. They ruled that Mayor Whipple had violated the city's code of ethics. They concluded that he had inappropriately used his office to seek favor and private gain by attempting to bypass the line for trash disposal. As a result of this ethical violation, Brandon Whipple was mandated to undergo ethics training, an acknowledgement of the need for public officials to adhere to high standards of conduct. Well, that's all we have in store for today, guys. Let us know if you want a part 2 of this video, because Politicians Breaking the Law is an endless series which we cannot cover in one video. If you enjoy our content, make sure you support by smashing that like button and subscribing to our channel.